What up, Theo? This is Cody calling from Michigan. I got a question for Urijah. I was just wondering what he thinks about this fucking Muppet, Logan Paul, thinking that he can fight Sage Northcutt. I just want to get a little bit insight, see what kind of fucking joke this is. But thanks, man. Have a good one.
That guy should be a promoter. I feel like,
be a promoter.
Is that Dylan Danis? I don't know who that is.
We have to have him out on the promotional tour on Sage's side. But dude, that ironically, and I hate to, because that guy is obviously on my side of that Sage would win the fight.
Yeah.
Logan Paul was a high level wrestler. A lot of people don't know that. He's also a big athletic guy. He's 185 pound in high school.
Wow.
185 pounder in high school. And then he took 6th in the state of Ohio, which is one of the toughest states.
Yeah.
Sage, on the other hand, has been fighting as a career. Logan's been doing the, social media influencer thing and everything else. But the mindset, man, that is the most important thing. Sage has it. Logan has it. Logan would be a big disadvantage, obviously, in the stand-up and everything else, but they always want to see Sage go against wrestlers because he's not from a wrestling background. They think that's his weakness, etc. And Logan Paul has been boxing for fun against other social media guys and everything else, but he believes in himself. And I actually know Logan Paul, and I text him after his fight, and then I text him when him and Sage started talking crap to each other. And I think it could happen.
Yeah.
I think
I could see it happening.
I don't think it'll happen in the UFC. Sage is now a free agent. But unless Logan doesn't want to fight him, but I think he believes in himself. I mean, he comes off as a guy that believes in himself.
Right.
He told me I'm a skull crusher. Dana said he'd be, he should be put in jail if he lets Logan Paul fight in the UFC.
Yeah.
I told Logan that, and Logan was like, I'm a skull crusher. Wow. Dana doesn't know what he's talking about. So he really believes in himself.
So he might earn it.
If he believes in himself, he's only 23. Sage is 21. I was 23, 24 when I started training for fighting with just a wrestling background. Right. Just wrestling.
Yeah, and who are we if we knock somebody that believes in themselves?
Yeah. So, I mean, I know that he has a lot of haters, and I appreciate this guy honoring the fact that UFC is real, and it is real, and it's a very difficult thing to get to. But the fact that he's got 17 million followers and he really believes in himself and he's willing to put it out there.
That's brave.
If he really is willing to put it out there, because there's one thing to say it, there's another thing to actually step in the ring with a Sage Northcutt and say, all right, let's throw fisticuffs. But I think it could happen. And
what do you think the odds would be? Like, what odds would that? Like, what would Vegas have?
Well, the Vegas odds would start highly in Sage's favor. Logan Paul would talk himself up, and he has 17 million followers, and odds are changing all the time depending on who's betting what money. So he might be the favorite at the end of it if he can convince enough people he's going to win.
You could be the one to promote that, and I feel like
we've been talking to him a little bit, but
there you go.
I mean, but I have to talk about everyone in the picture. I think getting Logan to actually want to fight,
right?
Saying you want to fight's one thing, actually doing it's another.
But it's also, but you know what's interesting is that it's funny, like how having one, I could see this. You have one career as a social media influencer, right? And you've kind of grown up in this YouTube space and have millions and millions of fans. And now you want to prove yourself in a different area of your life. We would all go to a skill set we already have some. Yeah. Like if I didn't do stand-up, maybe I would try to get into, something else that I could, I would pick a skill set that I have and work on that. So one of his obviously good skill sets is wrestling.
And I would say, I don't know Logan to this level, and I'm sure he's worked very hard to build his following now, doing whatever he's been doing. Yeah. Pissing people off a lot of times, but he's been consistent.
Yeah, growing up and being wild.
Yeah, being wild. But I guarantee you, if you ask him what the things he's worked on hardest on his life have been, it's probably most focus and dedication has probably gone towards wrestling. Wow. Just because I know the wrestling world, and I know guys like that believe in themselves. Yeah. And I know about a state like Ohio, which takes wrestling very, very serious. Yeah. So, I think Sage and Logan could happen.
Yeah. Wow. I'd watch it. I bet it would start out at 7-1, and I bet it would bet it could be even at some point.
Yeah.
7-1, I take Logan.
Dude, yeah. Well, but I'll tell you what.
And Nick's lost a lot of money gambling.
Yeah, that's very comforting. I might have to follow your leader.
But no, it's interesting. Look, it's interesting because where would you go? You've already done something to a height.
Yeah.
You know?
And also, the thing about the world he's in is you have no way of defending yourself from haters.
Right.
You either like me or I don't, and there's no, like, well, I mean, I think that's why Logan really enjoyed the process of having that fight, because he got to, like, defend himself,
Right.
really. Because he is just a kid growing up in a world that's really judgmental, and he's done some things that have pissed some people off. But at the end of the day, he's a human being who works really, really hard, who has some talents.
Agreed.
And he got to go out there and it didn't matter what anybody thought. He's going to go punch someone in the face. And
It's pretty
make it
admirable.
happen. Yeah,
and
it is admirable.
You know what's admirable? Even if you want, whether win or lose, it's admirable.
Yeah, I think what needs to happen is that fight needs to happen with Sage and Logan. And Logan, I mentioned this, raising some awareness for a charity.
Yeah.
That'd be a cool thing.
Yeah, because
You
you
know?
can do it. Yeah, he's going to have
Yeah.
so much power. Good evening, good afternoon, and other times. Thanks for watching that video you just saw. I mean, it was okay. But the next video you could watch could be way better. What if you watch a video right now that changes your life? Well, you could watch this one, or watch this one. Watch this one, watch this one, watch this one. Ah!